All right, so today I'm going to show you my ultimate mobile setup. It's mobile for live play, tear up, set down, travel, practice, recording. I'm going to go through everything I'm using right now to even make this video. The cameras that I'm using, which honestly is kind of old, plus I'm using my phone. How do I connect everything? I'm going to go through everything for this record setup and everything I'm using. But this is something that you can easily fit basically in a if you have a camera bag plus a backpack, minus the keyboard, of course, and the stand. But everything you can take with you, and it's very mobile, very easy. And I'll go through it all after. But I'm just gonna play a little bit and get a couple of shots, and then we'll kind of go through my equipment. All right, pretty good sound. So we're going to go through now everything and what I am using. All right, let's get into the equipment. I have a Novation Key Launch Key 61 keyboard here that you can see with a MIDI plus SP-2 sustain pedal here. And with this keyboard, it has no sounds. It's purely a MIDI keyboard, but it has lots of faders and knobs that you can program for your apps, and which we'll talk about in a minute. It has its own option for a power supply, so you don't have to power everything off of USB. So it has USB, sustain, and power supply. You can do octaves, so you can go up and down the 88 keys, even though you have 61. But depending on what you need, you can move it up and down. Of course, pitch and modulation. It's like a pound, super light. I have a super light X stand for it that's very easy to fold up and travel. So just the keyboard and the pedal and the stand, I mean, it's very light altogether to carry. It's very easy to take it anywhere you want in practice. And mobile setups, mobile recording sessions, writing, even live play, very easy to take. Now I am using an iPad Pro over here. This is iPad Pro. And I am using, if you can see, MK Sensation Extreme. That is the music sounds you were hearing. It's just some basic sounds. I didn't even. This is kind of one of the stock sounds that I did add the Ravenscroft to, but I didn't really do a lot of changes to it. It is saved as my user preset, so there's a little bit of changing, but not a whole lot. I didn't want to do a whole big sound setup. I have another video. Please go watch it if you want more information about this app. But it's the main app I use right now for recording and live play for my keyboard sounds. And it sounds really good, but I'm using an iPad Pro, the smaller screen, the MK Sensation Extreme, and I'm connecting that to the keyboard using this cheap USB hub. It's the USB-C hub. It's got USB 2.0, 3.0, and it's got USB-C out for charging, so you can charge it while you're playing. Then it's got the headphone jack, so that you can go out to your mixer or whatnot. And then it has HDMI, and I've used the HDMI before, and it works pretty well. But it's just an all-around regular USB-C USB hub that has audio. It's very cheap. I think it was on Amazon for $30 maybe. But I use that, and I use the USB 3 to connect to the keyboard with just the USB to the like the mini USB connection for the keyboard. And then for the audio, right now I'm just using headphones for audio because I'm taking all the equipment out to show you. But coming from the soundboard I'm using iRig 2, to go to my iPhone for one of the videos angles, and you basically you plug it in right here where the guitar is, and then this is where I would plug in my headphones to listen and mix from, and then this of course goes into the iPhone, and you can use video. You now I use like a video app that I have I think put on my channel before, Video Pro Plus I think, but to do my videoing from my phone, I'm only using the iPhone 10. But this iRig 2 lets you come in. It's got volume control, so you can do the gain from it and make sure that it doesn't get too hot. But the app that I use also lets you adjust the mic volume coming in. It also lets you shoot between 4K, 1080. You know, it lets you do the focus, shutter, ISO, white balance, zoom. It lets you control all of it, so it's pretty neat. So most of the shots I do is just using iPhone 10. And iRig is what gets the microphone keys sound from my board to the iRig. And I've done a little bit about this before. But for the mobile setup, I use this on Thursday nights. I've talked a little bit before about our Thursday night setups that we do for music. But this is what we use to send soundboard feed to our video feed. I do have a Canon TI7. It's a little old now. No, it's just a T7, sorry. A little old, but I use that sometimes for the alternate shots, like I did this time, just for an example. Microphones. So I have like this cheap, like it's called I don't even know, mic that I'll use. I just used for this recording, just so you can see, and it's quite a bit of ways from me. But I have a MXL 700 that I use for the big stuff at the house. But for mobile setup, if you're going to do mobile recording, you know, this is pretty decent mic without the risk of breaking anything. But the MX 770 is actually pretty cheap too. Of course, when you're doing video, lighting is important, so you want to make sure you got enough lighting. So that's how I get my sound and my setup. So if I'm just going to play and I don't have to worry about video, then it's just the keyboard, the iPad, this, and my USB cable, and my aux cable. It's aux to instrument, and that's it. That's it for my mobile setup. For video, of course, the iRig, camera, phone, however I want to do it, microphones. I do have my board over here. It's a Soundcraft Signature 12 multi-track. I like this thing. It wasn't too expensive. It was a few $100s. But it hooks up to my MacBook Pro. It'll hook up to my iPad, and I can actually do multi-track recording with this. So it's pretty nice to have for that. But overall, you know, basically the iPad, the keyboard, and the USB cable and this USB hub is all I need to do record, and I can charge my iPad while I'm doing it. So it's pretty awesome. So that's kind of my ultra mobile setup, and I use the iPad every Thursday night and almost every Sunday morning at my church for the sounds and the different things, and I've talked about that before. But super ultra, so if you're looking kind of to figure out, you know, maybe a possible setup for you to travel, to practice, I totally recommend this setup.